Welcome back. This is episode 213 of the Veterinary Business video show. In this episode we'll hear why receptionists still rule okay, and we'll learn more about the importance of the client experience. We'll learn about three quite separate simultaneous processes in the consulting room. We'll see how to use old-fashioned index cards to discover a fundamental business problem. We'll hear how to get the system right, and I'll offer you my quick business tip for this episode. I'm John Sheridan, and this is the video show from Veterinary Business. Back in the 1970s, Anike Group Services, my company at the time, launched a roadshow of one-day veterinary practice seminars around the UK. They were specifically and exclusively designed for the reception team, and we called the roadshow Receptionist Rules OK. Today your reception team are still at the hub of your practice. They're the people who probably know most about the local veterinary scene in your marketplace, the source of much of the data you need for management planning purposes, and they're the team which will largely determine the long-term value of each of your clients in your veterinary practice. Last year we saw the launch of the British Veterinary Receptionists Association. This year arrangements are already well in hand for the annual congress of the CX Club. What's the CX Club? Well, it's an exciting initiative from OnSwitch and has everything to do with the customer experience.
So when you get the invitation to come along to CX Congress, it's a chance really that you don't turn down if at all possible. It just improves seemingly year on year, and everything's there. It's just very slick, it's very professional. It reflects the theme of the day.
They've come up with loads of ideas that we can take back to our practice to use, ways to improve the service that we give and to help the client a lot more.
What we gained from last year was for me to go back to the practice and emphasise how important it is to actually give good customer care.
It's great that there is an equine specific stream. It's completely different to small animal. It's just about creating that word of mouth and that buzz around things that are going on in the community really.
I really enjoyed Fred's talk. I hadn't realised how much he knew about customer service. It's quite inspiring. As far as I'm concerned, OnSwitch is the only company in the veterinary industry that's actually doing proper customer experience training, a key strategic differentiator now for successful groups.
And words are just so important with just giving that client the experience, just words, which cost us nothing.
We've been to other shows, and this one we've really had that kind of one-to-one connection. People aren't rushed, they're not running around, there's plenty of time to go and see the exhibits and talk to people.
I'm a receptionist. We very rarely get invited to anything really. I usually feel a little bit left out. It's been brilliant, very informative, very relaxed, very professional, stimulating, and just what I was looking for really.
This is my third time. I've been to all three now, and each time I brought an extra member of the team with me because I think the values that they get to share, the information, the experience, the expertise they take back with them is just immeasurable.
There was nothing for us. The vets went to Congress, the nurses went to Congress. We didn't do anything as receptionists, and if you get that wrong, if you get the reception wrong, you've got the rest of your practice wrong as well. So I think this is absolutely fantastic. It's very encouraging, it's been very supportive, and it's inspired me.
Networking, interesting and really valuable.
Experience, communication, sharing.
It's dynamic and it's challenging.
Now let's see who's on the video show Soapbox. Linda Finneman is a vet with a particular interest in oncology, and she's Director of Veterinary Talent and Knowledge Strategy at Ethos Veterinary Health. Ethos is a group of 4 specialty hospital groups that have worked closely together over the last 8 years or so. In this clip, Linda explains that when you think about a client-vet relationship in an exam room setting, you're not embarking on a simple one-to-one conversation, but you're contributing to 3 quite separate, simultaneous processes.
Whenever we think about a client-veterinarian interaction, and I'll speak about an exam room setting, but it applies to any setting, there are several parallel processes that are happening. One is that we're going in the room, getting a history, doing a physical, making recommendations, and agreeing on a plan with the client. So that's sort of the nuts and bolts. But while that is happening, we also have to be providing some structure to the conversation so that the client knows what's happening and what to expect. And as a veterinarian, that we can organize our thinking in a way that can help us get to what we need to do, make an accurate diagnosis and a good treatment plan. And again, the third layer of parallel activity there is that we have to be building trust. So we have to build a relationship. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you recommend. The client may or may not do it if they don't trust in your care and you haven't built a partnership on caring for that pet.
Now for a tip from the top in the business world of veterinary practice. Do you sometimes sense that whenever a practice owner or manager is asked a question about what's going on in their own practice, there's a tendency for them to try to find the right button to press or the appropriate report to be printed out from their practice management software system? Sometimes the report doesn't answer the specific question, but a slightly different one. Sometimes the response is, we'll try to find an answer and get back to you. So the whole point of getting a quick answer to a perfectly reasonable quick question is lost. Sometimes I think we forget the value of pencil and paper, or as Dan Pink suggests in this case, we include old-fashioned record cards to discover a pretty fundamental business problem.
Hi everyone, welcome to another Pinkcast. Today I want to share with you an exercise I've done in many organizations that pound for pound, bang for the buck, is enormously effective. I call it, whose purpose is it anyway? And to do this exercise, all you need is your team, really as many people as possible, and some index cards. And here's what you do. You give everybody on the team an index card and you ask them this question. On this index card, please answer the following question. What is the purpose of this organization? What is the purpose of this organization? They write down in a single sentence the answer to that question. They don't sign the card, and then you collect all the cards. And what I have found doing this many, many times is that invariably the responses fall into two categories. One category, you go through the cards and you have people straining to try to figure out, what's our mission statement again? Something about stakeholders. You have people writing very cynical answers. We're here only to make money. You have people handing in cards that have a question mark. You have people handing in cards that are entirely blank. Other organizations, what you see is something quite remarkable. You see people not necessarily saying the exact same words, but they're playing the same music. You get a sense that people actually know why they're coming into work every day, what the purpose of the organization is. And what I like about this exercise is that it delivers so much impact for so little cost, either in dollars or in time. And think about it this way. If people don't know why they're doing their jobs, how can you expect them to do great work? Whose purpose is it anyway? Give it a try.
Now for my quick business tip for this episode. Ray Kroc, one of the original planners of the McDonald's franchise, concluded that when things weren't running smoothly in a McDonald's outlet, the problem was the system. So it was the system which had to be put right. Similarly, in a veterinary practice environment, Bash Hallow believes that your clinic will run like clockwork if you have the right system in place designed for the job. In this clip, Bash shares a cautionary tale about a client care representative in a practice he visited. She'd been tasked with admitting a lobby full of patients as soon as the doors opened first thing in the morning.
So I had this aha moment the other day. So I'm in a practice and I was observing the check-in process in the morning, you know, when all of the admits pile through the door. And there's this client care representative and she's behind the desk and she's really giving it her all. But unfortunately, not 5, not 6, but 10 admits are coming through the door in the first hour that this practice is open. And this poor client care representative is inundated with checking in patients for very serious anesthetic procedures. And she is slowly drowning while I watch her drown. I would have been happy to pitch in and help, but this was a new practice. I'd never been there before and I couldn't help her out. But it dawned on me how often we set up our teammates to fail. Like at this practice, their admit procedure was everybody comes in the first hour in the morning and we've got one person checking them in. And if she doesn't do a good job at that, our answer is regularly, well, work harder, be happier. Let's send her to a communication lecture and she'll learn how to do it better. But I think that all the communication lectures and all the energy that she can put into that situation is probably not going to make it work. So let's take a step back and instead of working harder, let's work smarter. What if we were all to just have a team meeting about the status quo, take a look at it, and see how we can improve upon the situation? Let's break that mold of what we've always done in terms of client interaction and see if we can't do it better.
So what's my quick business tip? Well, it's this. Think like Ray Kroc or Bash Hallow. The system was the problem. The people who know best why things go wrong in practice are the people who deal with that and similar problems all day, every day. So involve them, talk to them, seek their advice, work with them to amend the system and monitor the results together. Well, that's about it for now. I'm John Sheridan, and this has been another video show from Veterinary Business. See you next time.